Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Life Conversations with a Twist. I'm super excited to have Jenessa on. She is my first guest that's been on 3 times because I love her so much, and her evolution of her career and what she's doing has changed so much. So it's been fun to be on this ride with you. And I was just telling you
Oh,
before
thank
I
you.
hit record, like I love you as a person, and I love the work that you're doing, and you're so amazing. I've been in one-on-one, I've been group, I've done all the things. And so I talk about you all the time. So I was just excited to have you back on. So welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here. I love doing this.
Yeah, it's so super fun. So give our listeners, if they haven't followed all of our episodes, a little bit of glimpse of who you are, what you do, and then we're just going to dive right in.
Sure. So I am a psychic medium and I work in Santa Rosa. I also do stage shows across the country, and I do independent readings via Zoom and in person. Also, stage shows is more of a comical spin on psychic abilities and medium abilities, giving people a taste of what I do, but also making light of some things that are pretty heavy. The world as it is right now, their loved ones, maybe somebody passed away and they miss them, but then they can kind of make fun of them at some level to let them know they're being seen, that you're not alone. I did this the other day. I had a woman in my office, and both of her parents had passed away. And actually, I'm seeing her today. And so as I'm doing, I'm like, wait a minute, A, B, C, and D. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah. And I was like, right. So you're not alone. They're just not physically here with you. So although you feel like that mortality compass is hitting you hard, because of people passing, and then all of a sudden it's like a awakening of to like what that looks like for you. But it's also a blessing to know that you can have someone come into your life and connect with them to connect to you, so you're not lonely and sad as much as you were before you saw me. Because it's not that I want to say it's not that big of a deal, because it is. But it's hard. How do I put this? It's part of a journey.
Hmm.
And if we could like lens it that way, to where like life and death is all part of the same journey, and that we're actually all here, we're just not here physically because we're here to learn, then it kind of lightens the load a little bit towards that mortality compass. I
Mortality.
can speak, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
And so it goes into a space where you're looking at things differently. You're not looking at it through the lens of this is it, done, I'm alone, all those things are happening. No, no, it's just a different shift that happens. And I don't believe in heaven or hell. So for me, I believe we're here to learn. I believe we're here to experience. I believe we're here to, a murderer is not, you know, didn't wake up today a murderer. A lot of things happened prior to that to make this happen. So when that person passes away and the victim is equally in the same space, like I met 3-year-olds, then I'm like, why are you so defensive? Like, why are you like protecting everybody? Probably was a victim in his last life.
Mm.
And so now he came in this world, or she came in this world, highly defensive, because they don't know why, but they do know why. Because part of your journey was to experience anything to grow your empathic levels. That's why people are certain ways when they're younger. They're just very passionate about something, probably because they experienced the opposite in the last life. And so I don't know, I find it fascinating. But the point of what I do, not just to make light of this, is to connect people and make them or have them understand that spirituality is a real thing, and that we're here to help guide you guys. We're here to help and guide ourselves. And it gives people from grief to relief. If they're there for, grief, not just guidance, it gives them a little bit of a lighted load when it comes to their emotional state, and they can not move on, but utilize it better. Look for the signs and symbols, look for the dream state stuff, so you know you're not alone by yourself. You're just not with them physically. So
Hmm.
that's what I do for a living.
I love it. And honestly, like ever since I've come across and been in your space and like seen this work like firsthand, I have now approached, not that I
Right.
haven't had anyone significant around me pass away except for just recently, but like being able to help friends who are going through it, I'm like, when you're ready, like you should go see Janessa, and it just kind
Yeah.
of gives you a little bit of clarity. It
Yeah.
almost is like it doesn't like officially close the door, it just like reopens a new door for you to like communicate, understand,
Correct.
and not feel so like I'm never going to be able to be in their presence again, but that they are here and that they are
Correct.
seeing you and watching you and guiding you, which that was one of the things when one of your group readings is yes, you talked you talked to dead people, yes, but you help guide people in a way of their life because of
Right.
what you are hearing on the other side. And I think it's such a
Right.
cool way to like intermix them.
I agree. And I think that, I get text messages daily. like through my Google number or if they have my number personally. And I get them almost every single day from clients previously. And they're like, oh my God, you said my dad would go to the hospital in August. And my dad's healthy. He's totally fine. I'm like, I get it, I get it, I get it. But we have genetics happening and we have an undetermined or no understanding what's wrong with him, right? He looks healthy, he acts healthy, he takes care of himself. And I said, but when it happens in August, just remember this, he's in the right place at the right time. And that when it happens, not to freak out. Just let the doctors and nurses handle the business that needs to happen because it's something genetic and underlining. I think it's the right word. And so I'm, in my car after work one day, heading home, and I get a phone call, and it's her, and she's crying. And I'm like, who? I don't know who this is because I have so many clients. No offense, but I 4,000 plus clients. I'm just like, who is this person? And so she's like, Jenessa, it's so and so. And I want you to know that my dad's in the ICU. It was August, but he's okay. Like he's in ICU. He's going to be okay. I'm pretty sure because one, you told me he would be. And I'm like, oh, no pressure.
Yeah.
And then two, the doctors are saying they got it just in time. He's in the right place. So for her, and he is fine. He's totally fine. It was a heart condition. Like they had no diagnosis for it. So it was one of those moments where I downloaded something that was going to be helpful in the future so that I can alleviate the anxiety because the last thing you need to do is be worried about your dad and the possibility of death. That's just too much sometimes for us to handle. A lot of PTSD. So I alleviated part of the PTSD from the subject in just a quick second. And it's not, I'm human. People will harass me all the time, about like what are the lotto numbers and like I'm all knowing. And it's like I know a lot, I receive a lot, but I also receive ingredients. So when I receive certain words, signs, and symbols, am I giving you lasagna, pizza, or spaghetti? It's all the same ingredients, but delivered differently. And so no, I'm not all knowing, but I'm pretty damn like tuned in and dialed in. And so those things for me, those are for me are the things that I love doing the very most because they're preventative. Somebody who has zero symptoms, and I'm like, go get your lady bits looked at, either top or bottom. Do it yesterday, and they wait on it, and then this is actual story, and they come back in, 4 months later, and I'm like, yo. I think you should get your lady bits looked at. And they're like, you told me that last time. I'm like, good, then you should go yesterday. And that particular woman was in her 30s and had stage 2 breast cancer.
Mm.
No symptoms. And for that, if I was gone tomorrow, I did a really good job because she has children and a husband and a life and a business and or just a life in general. The rest of it's the extras. But I'm just saying, like and then it happened again a few months ago. A woman had, I said, do you have an IUD in? And she said, yeah. I said, you should get the placement checked or check behind it or something of that nature. And so she did, and she had stage 1 cancer behind her IUD. They found it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so those downloads, and especially in an hour reading, when you have to really get real deep into things, and I'm really getting information and getting over a timeline and getting personality traits of those who passed away for validity. For me, once I start dialing it in and do conduit work, once I start talking, it's just a conduit. It's just an hour long, or at least 45 minutes of me just like, okay, so you have 2 children. The oldest is a boy. He's very artistic, kind of has feminine energy. Then yes, 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 and I keep going. And then it's like husband, weird things happening, a shift going on with your relation, and I'm just they're using me to give them information to guide them through whatever after I have validity and like who they are, what role they played, how they were when they were alive, how they treat me. If someone comes through and they're like a MAGA, and they're like, "Oh, we don't like you, you lesbian, blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Oh, so your dad was a jerk. Your dad was a total jerk. He was probably MAGA," and they're like, "Yeah, he was the worst," and I'm like, "Exactly." So yeah, I like to do that to start off the reading with like a good platform of who they are and what we're here for.
All of what you just said is such heavy things, right? You talked
Right.
about cancer and death. I mean, it feels heavy. How do you, and I think I've asked you this before, but I'm always like curious, how do you stay, I guess, present and like not like have your brain going and receiving all these things? Like, do you ever get moments of just like peace and calm for yourself?
uh, thank goodness for edibles. Uh,
I love it.
and, and wine. So the answer is yes. I do a series of events in the morning before I go to the office. I do a series of events before I leave my house. For instance, I'm in my bedroom right now. You're welcome. And there's 3 candles lit. And then I'll give gratitude. The first one is for incoming love for myself because I'm on a singlehood girl journey right now. So it's like send me the person of my dreams and the person that's supposed to be my person. The next candle is for you guys. It's I want to set the stage today to give guidance, love, respect, validation, and evidence within the white light for the best and most positive guidance for whoever I'm talking to today. Today was you. And then it goes into I go to the other candle, which is for my children, my friends, and myself for just protection, abundance, love, and positivity. I do it every day and then go do the same thing in the office like a crazy person. But I can tell you this. I once once was at a group reading for a well-known person. I was just really overwhelmed with like the place. I was like, who has this much money? Like, wow, this is a lot. So I did the reading, and this time I had an agent, and who I ended up letting go amicably, of course. And so I go into a space where I wasn't paying attention. So 3 hours goes by. I read 18 people. It was drained. I was exhausted. It was all on point. Everyone's like, yes, 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 yes. So it was great for them. But I was very tired. And I get to the house I was staying at afterwards. And my ex-partner and I are in the hot tub. And I see like a shadow in the kitchen. And I'm like, this is weird. I don't bring work home with me. I always protect myself with the white light. And that's just protection in general. And so she starts saying things and she asks me, she's like, I thought you didn't bring your work home with you. And I'm like, I don't. I'm like, whoa, was there not a white candle lit to protect my art? Oh my God, was there not a candle lit? And she goes, I don't remember seeing one. And I was like, oh, let's see how this goes. Mm-mm, no, no, no. So I had an agent at the time. So that night in particular, I'm seeing darting around dark shadow, one. Then the overhead music switches over. I can't say too much because I can't say too much, but I can say this. It was a musician who had passed away. And so as we're listening to music, the music overhead switches and goes to his song. Then I'm walking down the hallway and there's hallway sconces and they're going off one by one as I'm walking. And my ex-partner's like, oh my God, this is like poltergeist activity. I'm like, right. Doors were opening. The music kept changing around. We just felt the dogs at the house were acting weird. So then my agent's assistant calls me the next morning. And he's a skeptic. I don't know why he hired me or why he signed me when I read him. It was perfect, but okay, whatever. So she calls me and she's like, "How was the reading last night?" And I was, "Oh, it was stellar. Why?" And she's like, "Well, Robert called me, and it was like, yeah, there's some weird stuff going on at my house. I'm seeing shadows in my bedroom. I'm hearing things. Lights are flickering. Music's playing by itself." And I was like, "Same here." So it took me about 6 months, and this entity, who I thought had crossed over, had not. So yeah, I learned something new. I'm human. I had to learn the hard way. And I did a meditation to expose who it was. I found out who it was. This person was telling me to kill myself almost every single night. hmm And I told
No.
this story to a producer. And at first he was all in, right? He's like, "You're amazing. You're on point. You're this and that and that." And I said that story. And he knew who the person was. And he said, with all due respect, I would love to work with you. I really, really would, but not me. I have a wife and I have children, and I don't know how deep this. And I said, with respect, I completely understand. I want someone as excited and protected as I am. I totally get it. But it was 6 months of I lost $9,000 to bad contracts, all my entire savings. I I was doing great work, but my personal life was very much shifting into like a very protective, depressant, negative way of
Because
thinking.
of this little entity that like came over with you.
Yep.
Oh.
And I hadn't, and come to, I can't, like I said, I can't go too deep into it, but there was a connection to where I was at to the person as well. So
Mm.
I had no idea. I just went in this blindly, like I always do. I don't research people. I don't care. It is not, well, your business is your business. I have enough clientele to even, if I had enough time to research people, I would never work.
Yeah.
It's too much. And I don't care. I believe what I put out is organic.
Yep.
And so the only time I have researched someone is when I've had a dude come at night because I've been attacked in my office twice, once by a female, once by a male. So if I have a weird like feeling, I might just look at a picture and be like, no, I'm gonna reschedule that to the daytime. Or
Mm.
see how they react if I say, can I reschedule you? Because I'm scared for my own safety. Now I have a camera in my office for that reason. So yeah, so the protection thing is a very big deal. And that protects me from when I leave my office, I give gratitude and I close out the sessions and I say, thank you for everyone who helped me today. Thank you for their loved ones, my loved ones, and then send them home with them. So I don't really feel I have the impact of taking it with me when I leave. And that's why I always have a whole ritual. I do it like a crazy person, no joke. I won't even start a reading. I've done shows where there's no candle and I'm like, pause. Nope. Someone go to the store, someone go next door, figure it out now. I won't even start because I don't want you guys infected with anything weird either. Like you might go home and all of a sudden you're depressed or you're not feeling good, or you have weird thoughts in your brain, or you're just in a bad mood and it lingers and it takes over on your life at some level. No, I won't do that. So I always start off my mornings protecting you guys in general, and then continue it all the way till the end of the day. So that's just how I do it, because I don't want to take any chances after what I experienced.
What's the significance of the white light?
The white light. So my mentor growing up was Sylvia Brown, and so I guess to make it the easiest, quick little response would be protection. Every candle, obviously, if you know any of the woo woo people, I love them so much and dearly. But they always have, like, a candle for love, a candle for money, a candle for relaxation, a candle for whatever, abundance. And so, like, for the first of the month, I always do the same ritual every month: a white candle, cinnamon, salt, and bay leaves, and a Sharpie. And I do a ritual every month, starting off with you guys first, always, to be able to heal 2 million people this month, right? And so the white light is a protection layer. So to start your day off, if you're going to do anything with spirituality, tarot, Reiki, psychic, mediumship, what spirit writing, dream analysis, any of those things, you always light a white candle first. That gives you the protection to go ahead and ask for things. If
Mm.
you don't, you put yourself at risk for anything that's a dark entity, and they're out there. They are out there. And then that person can come into your space and kind of manipulate you and make you think something different. This is just a way to give me a flat foundation to say, okay, today I'm going to go into the office. I'm going to read, 5 people today. I'm going to give them the best information with the white light to protect me from anything negative, trying to give them anything, bad or wrong or whatever the case is. And I also do a protection in my office with people who have been highly sexually assaulted or abused. So if I say, I think your dad's passed, I believe your dad is here. And I go, wait a minute, but he's in the lobby of my building. Is that because you were assaulted by your father? Or was did he like hurt you? Did he sexually assault, or any of this, your grandfather, father, whatever, uncle? And 9 times out of 10, the person will be sitting there, male and female. And they'll be like, yep, yes, and thank you for not having him in here. Because I know that if someone comes through and that people are affected by them, they hate them, they're scared of them. I don't want them just coming in and that person feels super unsafe, like, oh my God, my abuser's here. Now he's taking over, or she is taking over, my space of my protection, my safety. And so I always have to give that person the ability to say, do you want the person in here, or do I leave them in the lobby? Because they're obviously asking for forgiveness. Let's give you the list of things why. And sometimes they're like, yeah, let's do that. I need that. Or they'll be like, nope, I don't care. And I'm like, gotcha. 10-4, moving on.
Mhm.
So for protection, I think that the candle for me is just a baseline foundation to protect me and you from whatever can happen in the day or in the session.
Wow. So crazy. I have so many questions. What, so you do, why don't tell the listeners a little bit about like how they can work with you, like what services and stuff. And then I'm going to ask you another question after that.
Sure. So I do Zoom and in person. Zoom obviously is great. People across the country. I have clients all over the entire world. I love it so much. And then you can adjust your time to wherever you're at, so it matches mine. And then obviously in person, I do half an hour readings. I like those for guidance, a quick little 30-minute get together. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start from what I see 6 months from today, 6 months on, and let's give you that recorded, little bit of a timeline for you to look forward to or be unaware of. I do hour sessions, hour and a half sessions, 1, 2, 3 people sessions in my office, 1, 2, 3 in Zoom. I do stage shows everywhere, and those are again more of the comedian medium part of what I do for fun and excitement, but also validity, obviously. And then I teach a class once a month online. That is like a spiritual training class. It's where I kind of do a space where I can teach you the tools to find out what your abilities are. Everyone has abilities. The top 5 guided signs: born old souls, born with definite, strong intuition, is Taurus, Scorpio, Libra, Pisces, Capricorn. I
Mm.
am a Taurus, Libra, Scorpio. So there's that. Right. So, and then that's just the old souls, the know-it-alls, if you will. And then we have the ones right below us, which is almost everybody else. But that doesn't mean you're a young soul. It just means that you have young energy and older energy. You have some past lives, but you also have, younger ways of thinking, which I actually really appreciate. I stick in a space that's just, I'll fix a doorknob wrong every time I try it. Then someone else comes in who has younger energy and is like, oh, by the way, it's just over here. I'm like, how would you see that? Like, I was so stuck in what I'm doing, I wasn't looking around anything else. And I love that. That's how we get things elevated. People work together people work together, be nice for once, on both sides of the coin and make it, something that old souls and young souls can really make some beautiful like choices, decisions, businesses, marriages really well because you have that yin and yang.
What
That's
is
what
like your ultimate goal? Like if you could pick your career and pick your future life, what would it be?
Well, I'd be in Brooklyn, that's for sure.
Okay.
That's my goal. That's my 2027 goal. Maybe we'll see. And then obviously I've been on the path to look into trying to create a reality show, and the reality show is not for fame. I'll make that very clear. It sounds like it should be because it's like a thing, a quick 15-minute, I guess, or of whatever, or people see other psychics on television, like, oh, you want to be like them. No, what I really want to do is find that sweet spot where I can actually go somewhere and read people who don't believe in me and shift the ability for spirituality to grow. So by giving someone a sentence, super private to himself out of nowhere, if that's what I'm able to do at that moment, with a film crew getting real life moments of like, what? And I mean Hell's Angels bars. I mean churches. I mean, I don't care. Walk me with a crew. Let me see what I can pull in. Let me see what lands. Let me see what the reaction is. I can walk out. Because if, let's say, James is watching the show and he does not believe in this, per usual, most men don't. I don't know why, but okay. And then he go into a space where the guy on the television looks just like him. And so when I say something and that reaction's real, it's real evidence to what I do, then he might question exactly what this, little blonde lesbian on television is doing. And then all of a sudden he goes into a space where he's kind of curious and it kind of transforms itself into abundance of spirituality where people who never believed in me just crack the glass a little bit. And if I could do that for a few seasons and just live my life and do this still, like at home and via Zoom, a couple a day, 3 days a week, and then live my life, I'm happy with that. I don't need to be rich and famous. I just want to have the ability to shine a light on spirituality in an evident sort of way.
Mm,
So there's no pre-written stuff. There's no, not saying they do. I'm just saying I just want the ability to have something different that is not scripted.
mm. I love that. Well, you just put it into I believe in manifestation. So you
Mhm.
just did that. So
Yes, I did.
and I know it's gonna happen. I just had a question because I had someone talking about I like always have weird conversations with people about weird stuff, but they were I hear a lot that people are like, there's something in our house. There's some kind of spirit in our house. It's or they see it on their ring camera, and so they always question if it's like a good thing or a bad thing. Can
Mhm.
you like talk about what the difference might be and if somebody was feeling something in their home,
Right.
whether it was negative or positive?
Yeah. So how I've done this historically is one a sage is a great thing. I have a friend who owns a company called Lady Hummingbird Manor, and she does all like the spells and bells and all the things to cultivate whatever you're looking for, whether it's career or life. And I say this in for this reason. She has been doing this for a very long time, and I have had experiences where I had like a person who was quite jealous of me, and I could tell that she was practicing dark magic because there was things happening that were very seedy and uncomfortable. So I had her come in and do a ritual in my office. And again, I'm not woo woo at all. I just do this, and I'm not against them at all. I love them, but I also know that I like people who are one, knowledgeable, two, what they create is under the white light for the betterment of other people with no control and no way of manipulation. It's just the ability to be cleansed and open the space up to receive and protect yourself from things around you that don't have your best interest, right?
Mhm.
So when it comes to entities and houses, I had an incident here at my house about a year and a half ago. Actually, it was a year and a half ago because that's when I was going through the thing with that weird entity that I apparently was
Oh.
attached to or attached to me. So I had her do something else for the lady that I'm talking about at my office, and then I had her come back and do it here. The lady in the office situation was remedied immediately. It
Mm.
was the wildest thing I've ever, I mean, honestly, within like an hour, a series of events happened, text messages, people, and everything else. And I was like, what? Wait, what? And then the same thing happened here. So we did a ritual where, because she went upstairs, she goes, your bottom stairs are great. Your bedroom is fine. Your son's bedroom's fine. Bathrooms are fine. But I have this feeling in this back room, a guest room. And I'm like, yeah, that I know you walk by there and it feels like, ugh, like something's off. And it was basically, we did all the ritual we had to do. She hung something above my door. All these things happened. And then within that night, I did a manifestation, or no, I'm sorry, I did a manifestation. I did a whatever. I did something. I did where I go under, you know what I'm saying, like into like a meditative state. And then I asked to be exposed to who it was, and I was that same day. And never have I felt him one more time as he tried to ever since then. And it was like,
Interesting.
and it wasn't like a placebo effect. It wasn't like, I mean, if it didn't work, it didn't work. Maybe she needed a different ritual. Maybe I wasn't open to it. Maybe he was so powerful that we weren't able to combat this problem. But that night I did the meditation. And it was immediately, I was just like, woke up, saw who it was, figured it out, recognized what was going on. And the next day it was like everything was really, my stomach aches were gone, my headaches were gone. And it was like real time evidence to relieving that entity out of my house. When it comes to good and evil, and I mean that with all the respect that they deserve, there is unhealed people who don't cross over. They
Mm,
skip that process. You meet them in real life. You meet them when you meet somebody, you're just like, oh, they look very captivating or awesome or full of energy. And then you touch them or hold them or, you know, get into it differently. Um, that with them, like more detailed, you're like, I don't like them. They seem very much like they'll take people's energy, positive energy, good people. And once they've used them, they'll discard them.
mm,
So, and then I believe those same people, if they do not choose to cross over and learn their lessons, that they can get into a space where they'll come back and not cross over and then start doing it in a different way, a different
mm,
dark entity way. Also, people who, you know, murdered somebody, suicide, super religious, who did bad things, they tend not to want to cross over anyways because they are scared they're going to go to hell. So when you have something in your house you see or feel, I always like to obviously white light candles. Wait, light white candles. It's a day of talking, I'm telling you.
it's okay.
And then it goes into basically you want to address it. So a good person, a person who's your family or friends, somebody who's there to guide you, right? Because you're going through something and you start seeing things. 9 times out of 10, if you start seeing things in your household because you're going through something, you literally ask, Mom, I wish you were here right now. God, I wish you were here to help me out with this. And now you're asking for those things. If out of nowhere you start having like poltergeist activity or energy that makes you feel unsafe, energy that when you're waking up in the middle of the night, they're there. Your loved ones aren't there to scare you, period. Anything about
Mhm.
that. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that are darker entities are going to want to access you at spaces that you are vulnerable, sleeping, daydreaming, depression, medicated, drunk, you know, that sort of thing, inebriated to where you're like susceptible to being infiltrated by some sort of spirit or, you know, entity. So for me, if that starts happening to somebody, if you don't feel comfortable and now your family's in a weird place, everyone's grumpy, people are scared to sleep in their bedrooms, especially children, especially
Mm,
little ones who are sensitive, animals are acting funky and not in a good way, like in a different way. Then you're going to sage your house from top to bottom. You're going to open all your front door, your back door, you're opening doors and windows in the house. You're going to walk through and give gratitude for those who love and watch over you while you're using the sage, go through every door frame. And then you're also going to say things like, those who do not have my best interest are not allowed in our space. Only those that love us and protect us are allowed here in this household. And you keep doing it. And then you do it again from the front door all the way through the house. And then like my house is kind of in the on this larger end. And so for me, it's like an hour. I'm just like, oh, okay, come on, get out of here. I don't need you around. This is some bull crap.
yeah.
And so, but that's how I do it if it happens. But I do so much protection in my house that if something does get to come through, I'm questioning it. Now I have to ask questions. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? You know, and then I have to go through a space of like figuring out how to banish this thing because they want to access me. I've had entities that are not good people that want to get their point across because their daughter doesn't want nothing to do with them, and they're kind of try to come to me and be like, make her forgive me, and it's like I'm not doing that. You can't attach yourself to me. I don't have that. I don't want that ability, and nor do I allow the ability to do that. But when it comes to your household, especially children, if you have a child who's a sensitive, which a lot of these kids now are, most of the kids are sensitive, unless they are born sensitive. And then you have some people who control it in their household, you know, not allow it, don't believe in it, think they're being whatever they're being. So with children, if any child is going to watch this, any parent watches this, and you have a sensitive child, one that has seen spirit as a child, has imaginary friends, plays with himself independently, talks to the air when they're little, like talking away, like playing with their dolls, but in a higher level. First of all, put your phone in there, put it on voice memos and record the room. See if you get any evidence of metal, electrical, or disembodied sounds with response to the child. That's fine. They're sensitive, grandma, grandpa, sure, you know, loved ones, their spirit guides, whatever the case is. Now, the minute that child tells you anything other than they're in the room, I'm kind of scared, that's fine. They're probably seeing things and kind of weirded out by it.
Hmm.
But if they ever say they see it through a glass or a mirror, if ever they say there's a person in the window staring at me or a person in the mirror staring at me or asking me questions, I'm scared, then you got a problem. Because then you have the child such a high conduit that they're actually going to be in, like if they say yes, I know it sounds so like hocus pocus or like vampire-y, but it really, trust me, I've heard it historically. I went and did a house cleansing for a family where the woman heard this story, very similar to this. She calls me and she's like, would you mind coming to the house and doing a house cleansing with my 7-year-old? And I was like, sure, I will be there, all the things. They paid me to come out there, went to the house. Minute I walked in, I was like, nope, nope. And so I get the little kid and I was like, hey, buddy. And he's like, hi. And I was like, I have to ask you a question. When's the last time you saw this person? He goes, out the window. And I said, you didn't tell him to come in, did you? He goes, no, but I don't want to be in my room anymore. And I don't want to do this anymore. And I was like 10-4. So I had him go with me, of course, with the parents there, with their permission, of course. But I wanted him to experience it for himself. Now he gets to be a Ghostbuster. And that should be exciting for him. Because if he doesn't have that thing anymore bothering him, he did a good job. Like he did it himself. And now he knows what to do. So he lit a white candle in his bedroom. We walked around. And then I recognized that his brother had a friend who had committed suicide or overdose or something. So as I walked in the parents' room, and the parents apparently knew him, I was like, do you have a child that's passed as well? Or like of your other son's age? Like, and they, of course, were freaking out. And it was a whole long story. So then as the little one and I walked around with the parents, and the dad was like really inquisitive. He was like, this is kind of cool. Like, how would you know this stuff? And I'm like, that's what I do, sir. That's what I do for a
Yeah.
living. That's why I'm here,
So I'm here.
ta-da, ta-da. And so we get to the kids' room. That's when he explained to me. I said, oh, so he's outside the window. He goes, I go, is he here right now? Because I don't see spirit anymore. I see energy. And he goes, no, he's not here. I don't think he likes you. I said, perfect. I don't like him either. Let's handle business, kid. So we saved your room. We did all the things. And I said that he was not allowed in the space. And the little kid said the same thing. You're not allowed in my space. You're not allowed to come out here anymore. And then we went in the living room and, did the living room and the kitchen and all that stuff. And he was so proud of himself. Like he was walked away from it like he was a Ghostbuster. It was pretty cool. And then I asked him, if you have any sort of activation, like a higher activation, let me know, because sometimes I can tick them off enough to where now they're activated to be even more angry because I'm defending them. No, she hasn't had a single thing since then. And he still sees spirit. So we did a good job. He and I did a good job, kid.
Oh my gosh, that's such a cool story. No, because you hear that all the time. Everyone's like, I feel like there's something in a house. And I'm like, they're probably fine. Like, unless it's
Yeah,
like a negative thing, they're
mhm,
just
exactly.
there being present and don't
Yep.
freak out.
Especially if you have a shift, if the shift happens where you think you see things I call it light density. So like for instance, I have a ring light on right now, right? And so in the corner of my eye, I can see my side table to my bed and there's a lamp on it. Occasionally I'm doing Zoom readings in here or I'm doing classes in here or whatever the case is. I will see what I consider the energy condensed to walk in front of the light. So I can see them in the corner of my eye, like all of a sudden, like, oh, we have a new person here. How's it going? Or I have to address it. But that's light density. I don't have any problem with it until I do. Now, if I have something happen where all of a sudden I'm feeling negative energy, I'm feeling down, depressed, I'm hearing things in my head that are they're unsavory at the best, right? That sort of thing, then I'm going to address it because I don't think that person has my best interest. I think they're here to see what they can do to me, which
Mhm.
is, it is what that is, it is what that is. But I'm here to do that work, however that looks like. And we'll see moving forward the new things that are coming out.
Friends, I have such an exciting product that I need to share with you. Are you someone who hates washing their face at night? Yep, that's me. For years, I never wanted to wash my face. And finally, I found a product that actually gets me excited to wash my face every night, and that is Clear Stem. I have tried so many products over the years to find the one that I truly love, the one that makes my skin glow, the one that makes me feel good when I wash it, and the one that gets me excited to want to wash my face. I discovered Clear Stem through another podcaster, and I was like, I got to give this a try. I instantly became obsessed. Some of my favorite products are the hydrating cleanser, which I use every night. It smells delicious. It makes my skin feel so great. Once a week, I use their Vita Scrub, which is an exfoliating cleanser, and that just has these little micro beads in it that just make your face feel so beautiful. I can just feel them get into my pores and really give my face this huge glow. And then one of my other favorite products is the Hydra Berry mask. And once you wash your face, you put a layer of this on your skin and you go to sleep and you wake up and your face feels like butter. I get so many compliments on my skin now. I don't get a lot of breakouts anymore. My face feels like nice and hydrated and bright. And it's all because of the Clear Stem product. What I love about them is that their products are all clean. They're good for your skin. They're good for your body. And they have so many different product lines based on the type of skin you have. So go down in the show notes, click on the link. I'm giving 15% off to anybody who uses my code. And I promise you, once you try this, you are going to be obsessed just as much I am. So again, go down to the show notes, click on the link, receive 15% off, and give Clear Stem a try. I promise you will not regret it. So crazy. I mean, I could only imagine being like in your world for a day. Like the things
Please
that
do.
you
I could take a break.
experience.
It would be very nice. I would love a little bit of a break on. I mean, I've been doing like predictions this last 2 years, and it started off with in September of 24. I had a prediction. I was actually on an edible, and I was talking to my ex-partner on the phone, and she's like, "Our friends are moving to England," and I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Well, babe, like the world, what we're
Yeah.
about to head into with this new administration." And I was like, oh, wait, hold on, download. And she's like, okay, tell me. Cause I read her partially,
Mhm.
and she knows what I do. So for her, it's, curiosity. And so I was like, in 3 days or 3 weeks, there's going to be a fake death in the Republican Party, like a fake stabbing or a fake shooting. And if it happens, it begins a very scary 2 years. Very scary year and a half, 2 years. Like a lot, but it's okay. We have to get through it. We can't go over or under it. We have to get right through it. So I was in Petaluma, California, doing a group reading at a house, and this woman comes in, like busts in the room, and she's like, "What do you believe in politics?" And I was like, "Ugh, yeah, yeah." And I don't like anybody, to be honest. They're all a bunch of weirdos. And so they all run our country. Sure, they do. No, they don't. No, they don't. Pfizer runs us. Amazon runs us. Let's be real. The billionaires run us, not the actual politicians. They're just
So true.
puppets. So it's literally. So she comes in all hot, right? And I'm just like, what? She goes, "Where's your phone?" I goes, "In my purse." "Where's your purse?" "In Lanai." "Why? What is happening?" And I told her the story about the 3 days, 3 weeks. It had been 3 days since that prediction. She goes, "He was just shot 30 minutes ago. And it looks very, very staged, like not real at all." And I was like, "Oh, great. Okay. So buckle up then, because we're going to have SoCal fires. We're going to have a bunch of earthquakes in California. We're going to have one that has a tsunami warning. We're going to have, and then as the 6 months kept going, I kept moving my timeline down. They all started happening. But then I was like, we have somebody take somebody out in their party, and it's their own people against themselves, and it happens in this 1 month. And I did it on stage, and I'll be honest, I thought it was, the big one, the orange one. I thought it was him. And so I was like, yeah. And then I mean, not to be like, I don't want to wish death on anybody, but don't let me be his pilot, okay?
I
Don't let me be his
I don't
pilot,
talk
because I will take
politics
that plane
ever,
down.
but I agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I never put negative things out there, because I believe what I put out comes back to me tenfold.
Yeah.
So I don't want to wish anything on anybody. But if I had the ability to handle business, I would, even at my own expense. Okay, so that's when it happened. It was Kirk. It was the Kirk
I was
shooting.
just about to, that's what I was thinking.
So when it happened, I was like, "Who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
who? Why?" I mean, I know I've heard about him. He's just it's just one of those people, I think, that got beat up when they were little, and like no one cared for them, and they just like were that person forever. They were just like, "Oh, I'm angry because no one's my friend, and I'm weird and all." So now I have a platform and money, and I'm gonna make everyone miserable and be a jerk. It's like, shut up, like whatever, dude. You're so listen. Just well, I can't now because no, 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 nope, not doing that. Nope. Nope, we're not doing that. Oh my God, it said a download. I don't want to talk to him ever. Okay, we're not doing that. But anyways, so yeah, it goes. Especially after our pre-conversation before we came on here.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to tell you about this is we now are going to be cresting into a different like space. So February, March, April, May, and June, there should be a knock on wood. Defying a lot here. It's happening real time. Is that we have political shift coming. We have a political climate shift. Now, do I think the Republican Party will still be in office? Yes. But how they handle this, how they speak to us, how they start addressing things, I believe is going to shift tremendously based off fear.
Mhm. And
Based
you
off
think
fear.
it's
So
for a good thing? A good
yes,
thing for
yes,
us.
yes. For us who are normal.
Yes.
I'm not saying liberal and I'm not saying conservative. I'm saying just human beings. I'm a nonpartisan. I have been both. I believe in nobody. I did a reading for Steve Jobs' best friend, and the things that he brought to the table during her reading were and of course, she knew him for 30 plus years. So for me, I sat there in a space where I was like, tell me things only she knows that she can validate. I don't need to know what people can Google you with. And yeah, I
Hmm.
guess he had a movie or something. I don't know. All I know is I buy his products. So for me, I was like, okay, so then I gave her three things. One of those things was the political climate. And this is before all this whole Trump situation, MAGA, weird Nazi-ish feeling happened going on, right? So he said that basically there is no politics. I'm not sure how far I can go on this after having the conversation now. I'm going to say I don't care. So they're ran by corporations. They're ran by the billionaires. They are puppeteering fear on purpose. What do we do when we're scared? We drink more. We do drugs. We do weird shopping things,
Yep.
gambling, eating, lack of eating,
Horrible
medication,
habits. Yeah.
horrible habits to protect ourselves from feeling anything, right? Well,
Hmm.
that's all going to benefit them. The more fear we have with each other, the more we both sides of the parties do crazy things. All my Republican friends are scared. They're not MAGA. They have belief systems, and I honor and respect their belief system for what they see. But they're in fear of the MAGAs. They're in fear of what this looks like for them. And they're now leaning, I would consider myself a liberal conservative, right? I don't know how else to say it. That's how I consider myself because I have beliefs on both sides of the parties. But after that reading, I became nonpartisan because I was like, I have never trusted anybody. I kept just trying to figure things out as I matured as a woman, and it didn't make any sense to me. So after that reading, when he was showing me like this tree or this a pyramid, where basically the end result was like literally like Pfizer, like Amazon, like what was the other one? It wasn't Target because screw Target, I don't go there anymore. But it was a whole other another major corp. I don't remember right now, but it was like these are the ones who actually own and are owning America, and they want to keep you in fear, to keep you separate, to keep you distracted, to keep you in a place of and we'll do bad things to prove our point. But our ultimate goal is just to make everyone one. It's like almost like Idiocracy, the
Mm.
movie Idiocracy, to get to a place where you're so in a routine of like your phone and social media and fear and anxiety and all the things happen, then all of a sudden you forget you have like 3 years left you. You didn't do anything for yourself. You didn't elevate yourself. You didn't stand up for anything. You were just in a fear-based place. And now they have control over you by money, by social media, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah. So when he told me a few other things too, and I asked her, I said, this is a real thing. And it was very private to his personal life. And she knew the family still. And I was like, what? And she's like, and then I said, you have three things that you and somebody else know in a locked box somewhere. Like it's locked away either here or actual written down or documents put away somewhere. And I said, there's three things that you know that if you told anybody, it would change the trajectory of the world. And she said, to my grave. And I was like, wait, no, like I want to know. And he's not giving it to me. She's not giving it to me. So I'm kind of stuck in this middle ground place. But it definitely was, this was like I think 3.5 years ago. It was definitely in a space where I was like highly alerted to the non-transparency of our planet. And then we already know that. We all feel that anyways.
Hmm.
But to have it be told to me this way, it was just confirmation and validation for myself, for all of us. And I was like, I'm not going to sit here and let I mean, of course I'm in fear. I'm half Jewish. I'm gay. My children are mixed race. I have many reasons to be scared. If I leave the country, y'all come with me. That's when I'm alerted to get out of here. But until then, I'm going to fight because
Yeah.
this is a lot of stuff to keep us in fear for the underlying payment of money. That's it. That's all of it. Same with the semaglutide Ozempic trend. I feel exactly the same way. For 70s, 80s, and 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, there was an abundance of fast food, an abundance of cheap food that everyone was like, wow, I could feed a whole family from Taco Bell for $10 versus going to the store and feeding the family for 10, to $45. And then you were hooked on it because it's all chemicals and like additives and it's addicting and it's full of sodium, so we want it, and it's sweet and it's salty and all the things involved and cheap. And then we get to a point where everyone's addicted, overweight, obesity, diabetes, cholesterol, all the things are happening, and they're like, oh, by the way, here, take this take this what do you call body dysmorphia drug, put it in your system, and then you won't even worry about that food anymore. We'll
Hmm.
just give you something, but we're going to pay like $700 for it. And it's like the same idea. It's all
Hmm.
the same thing. It's just shifting it into another control for, visuals, for weight loss, all the things. So I just look at that way. I got that from her too, by the way. That goes into a space where after she passed. So it was one of those moments where I was like, whoa, download, download. That makes sense. It's
Yeah.
controlled by, feeding you, information or food or things to your body that they now can recontrol again in a different way completely. Yeah.
Yeah, we before we hit record, I had thought about that this morning of like how you are processing all of, I mean, I'm sure you're seeing things and
Mhm.
sensing things,
Mhm.
and like how that has changed with this whole political crap that's going on currently.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the whole idea of what we're going, I'm gonna touch base on that subject. And I'm just gonna, like I was telling you before we got on here, I'd rather just expose everything and see where it lands versus hide away from things, because we all hide away from too many things.
Mhm.
And whether it's at my own demise or it's something that benefits you guys all in general, I'm here for it. But 2.5 years ago, I was on my treadmill working out and I had a download about Elon Musk and the political climate. And it went into a space where I was like, oh, they're going to create something to read my mind, to watch me read people so they can then facilitate the information to create someone like me or control someone like me and put me into a space where I work for them, meaning no privacy, not even for my family. Because if you expose somebody who's doing bad things, and you're right, they're gonna be like, what else do you know? Like my infidelity, like my other things that people do that are not okay in the world. And so I called my friend Hillary and I was like, yo, I had this download. It was like words, right? The ingredients: Elon Musk, helmet, control mind, meet him in New York City, tell him things about his parents that only he knows that are very, very bad. And then go into a space where he now is like, how do you know all this? How can I create this and control you? Because you can't go in the world and know
Mhm.
things.
Yeah.
And so, and then that before, she and her husband had an absolute 2 hour conversation about him out of nowhere. And then that happened next morning. So come to find out now, with all the Epstein list stuff happening, that is a real thing being produced, a real center for trying to figure us out. And it might even include things where they control you, kidnap you, torture you, try to get you to give them information or keep you quiet so you don't. And I want to say this: anything happens to me, you know where this came from, because I'm here to help. I'm here to help. If I go missing, find them. I mean, you won't find me probably, but at least you know ahead of time that this is the thing that's really in the works right now. And I find it interesting, fascinating, and terrifying all at the same time.
Yeah.
I feel like a version of Elle from like Stranger Things now. I'm just like me in the military. I'm just like, no, I'm here
But
to
one of the
help
things you have
people.
said is like you can only control what we can control. Like
Yep,
that, and
that's
that
it.
is my mindset too right now. I'm like, let's just keep focusing on my life and the things I
Yep,
can control and not worry about all the
yep.
outside noise.
And the outside noise is there to distract you. So
Yeah.
if everyone's just quiet for a minute and look at a spade of being a spade, and not as what it could be or any sort of fantasy or any sort of other way of looking at it that is, like hopeful or dreamy. Just look at it, look what they're giving you right now, and then start dissecting exactly how this looks.
Mhm.
How do you lose family members? How do you lose friends? How do you lose coworkers? Because now we're in a place of high fear on both party sides for a reason. It's like, can't we just have opinions? I had a person who put a staple gun in my tire because I had a F Trump jacket, and he kind of hit on me, and I was like, wrong team. And so like then I came out of the establishment to find that I had a low tire pressure because someone took a staple gun to the sidewall of my tire. That could have had me blow out my tire on the freeway. I could have gotten an accident and died, all because he wasn't happy with what I had to say.
Right.
If he had a shirt that said hate psychic mediums, I'd be like, mutual. Like, for you, I don't like people like you, but I wouldn't hurt you. I
Right.
would have a conversation with you, but I wouldn't hurt you. And it's just interesting how heightened everything is for the sake of who's right and who's wrong.
Mm-hmm. We could have a
For
whole
what?
podcast on that, girl.
Please. If I'm still alive, we'll talk about it.
Okay. We had 10 minutes because you and I both have to end our conversation today.
Yes, we
But one of
do.
the things I had asked you, because I talk about your superpower all the time, and your first recording with me, we like stopped recording and you're like, there's people in your house and all these spirits. And I was like, what the? But I didn't release it, but I would told people about it. So I was like, can you do like a little mini reading on me just so
Yeah.
people can experience like the beautiful work that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to give you a couple of things in guidance. I also want to talk about your dad's health, and I think you know about it right now. Is your grandpa passed on your dad's side?
Yes.
Okay. He kind of likes me. Mm, I mean, ish. He's nice, but shut down.
My dad?
Grandpa.
Oh, grandpa. I never met him. He died when
Oh,
my
darn.
dad was like 14.
Okay. Okay. So, because I liked validity when I started reading off with somebody. So, like, they come through the personality traits they had when they were alive. He's kind of
Mm.
standoffish and kind of stoic. He's not being rude or homophobic to me. So, that should track by anything you've heard from your dad, that he was a fair dude, but not like overly like lovey to me. Um, Or maybe. Nope, not no. Okay, nope. Okay, so I want to go over your dad's health. I want to go over your career shift. I want to go over your husband's health, and I want to go. Is your eldest a girl?
Yes.
Okay, and I want to go over her as well. I don't think you have any dark entities in your household anymore
Okay.
at
Well,
all.
I'm in a new home.
Oh, no wonder. That makes sense because I was like, I have nothing. I
Okay,
have
great.
nothing. Yeah, I was like, either
The
you did a
first
bunch.
reading you did was in my house that we lived in Roanoke Park. We sold that house and we're in a new home now. So
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense because I was like, everything feels different and clear. So either you did ghost busting or you moved. Perfect. Yeah, I don't have anything bad right now.
yay.
Okay, so and the recent passing was a female?
No.
Was a male?
Hmm.
Obviously, it's one of the two. Okay, because we have it associated to, is it your husband's side of the family?
No.
That's yours? Okay.
Hmm.
Because
It wasn't even in a family. It was a good friend of mine.
I was going to say it was not, sorry, I have to do the work here. It's the ingredients I'm getting, which is both you guys know who this person is and non-related. So I thought it was on your husband's side. It would be
Oh,
non-related to you. Okay. When did he pass?
in November.
I don't think he's crossed over yet. I was hoping that I didn't know you had a recent passing. And so, I mean, obviously I don't look up people's stuff. For me, I'm just like, where's the other entity at? And then he goes into feminine energy. So this man might have had feminine energy. So he could be a dude, but definitely it can see women, feel women, understand women, not be a jerk.
Hmm.
That's what I consider feminine energy.
Hmm.
So I had feminine energy non-related to you. So I thought it was going to be like someone on your husband's side. Okay. I don't think he's crossed over. Was it sudden?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it accidental?
We just found out it was like a heart thing. Like,
Right. Well,
yeah.
health, yes, but accidental, meaning usually misdiagnosed or didn't go and get looked in time.
Didn't he knew he had something, but they didn't realize like how bad
How
it
bad
was,
it
I
was. Yeah,
guess.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it goes health and it goes accident. Usually meaning there's a misdiagnosis or either one or two things or two or three things. One is they didn't get checked in time. Two is they have a misdiagnosis causing this accidental death. Or three, they just didn't get looked at all and they just had a sudden death out of nowhere, like
Mm.
out of nowhere with no symptoms and signs beforehand. When someone has signs and symptoms beforehand, it sucks because people I'm talking to are like, oh, yeah, no, I was telling her for like 5 months to go to the doctors and she would not go to the doctors because we saw that weight loss. We saw whatever the case was. He have a daughter too.
Son.
Okay. I don't have him. I'm getting information from your grandfather just because I'm curious on where this person's at. November is pretty quick. That's only 2 months ago. And with it being very sudden. So 2 months, 3 months, 5 months in our world is literally days in their world. It
Okay.
has to, especially when you have a child, because I knew he said he had a child, grieving, obviously. Two females that missed him. Is he married?
It's probably his mom. I mean,
Yeah.
my best friend because it was her sister-in-law, and probably his mom because his
Yeah,
mom's
oh
still
yeah.
alive.
It's two females that miss him, a child that misses him, sudden health death with an underlining like accident. And then it goes into still there. So, did he die at home?
Hmm.
Okay, because he's over bed.
I think he was in a chair.
Okay, he's oh no. Well, is it in his bedroom?
I don't know that for sure.
Okay, because he's not at a hospital and he's
No.
overlooking into room. And then he looks into room and then right, hold on. And then it goes into the two women who are missing me. They're very upset. And then my child. Also, the child could have feminine energy. I hate saying it like that, but we have a whole new system of children out there now. It's making it harder for me because I have little girls being born very, very masculine. I have little boys being born very, very feminine. It's like, oh, now you guys are making it difficult for me. Dang. Well, it's different when I say male or female, but feminine and masculine is a whole different ballgame now.
Interesting.
Okay, so when he crosses over, yeah, there should be an alert to you said your best friend is what you
Hmm.
said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because the first 2 weeks when someone passes away, we feel everything. We feel all the bells and whistles, right? Weird phone calls come in, weird ATM like doesn't work right, electrical wise. Songs start playing. We have weird dreams, nightmares. We see shadow figures. That is just the umbilical cord of life being cut, and then we receive all their energy. People get a placebo effect, being like, no, no, no. When he passed away, I saw and felt everything. I'm sure he's fine. Not a big deal, by the way. Has to do with somebody who's looking at themselves. I don't know what that means. She said it on a chair near laying down, near laying down.
Mm.
Maybe he fell out of the chair. Maybe he's looking at where he landed.
Mm.
Did he reach out to anybody before he passed? Like right
No.
before he passed? Any
No,
sort of
no,
text message?
They were in a group text message, yeah, because they had just gotten back from traveling.
Okay, because I was like, there's a text message thread with people. So I wasn't sure if that meant like
Mm.
someone reached out to him or if somebody else was in a space of like, oh, I don't feel good. And then he dies. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, why did I do that? Because I'm seeing a long thread and I was
Yep.
wondering if that meant he reached out or there's a story behind it, which is what you just
Yep.
validated. Okay, when he crosses over, I'll do my work on my end too. Let your friend know. I'll be happy to talk to her about 15 minutes for her grief to
I've
relieve
already
for
told
free.
her that I was like, as soon as you're ready, you
Yeah.
need to go
Give
see
him
her.
give him a few, a month or so more.
Okay.
He has to understand that he passed. This is not a dream. This is not, and when it's sudden like this, and we already had a diagnosis that is incorrect, there's a lot of other things involved. There's like accepting this really happened, confused. And just in that time frame, we're talking about days in our world. So it's not the same time frame. I've done this a very long time. Do you have a dog
No,
or a cat?
not that I know of.
Okay, looks like somebody does. Obviously everyone has, and I don't have any animals anymore, but everyone usually has animals. So there's a space where the child's palatable to go at to give him information. He must be younger. How old's the kid?
He's 16.
Okay, he's under the age of 20, and these kids are all part of the huge shift. No wonder why he's missing him. He's a teenager. That's his dad.
And he
And then it
found
goes,
him.
oh, 10-4. Okay, because I was like, why is there so much beyond the PTSD of knowing your parent passed? What else is happening? Because he's pliable, but he's super shut down. And
Hmm.
anyone under the age of 20 is very much on the different spiritual plane than the rest of us are. We've had the biggest change of children or a new species of humans in 700 years in the last 20 years.
Wow.
Like we have a whole new system happening now. So those kids have feminine energy, masculine energy. They see spirit, they feel spirit. They don't care about sexuality, politics, or religion. They do if they're forced in family. But if they had their own way, they'd be like, "Why are we fighting over all this?" I don't. That does not resonate with them. They're
Hmm.
way more open as far as like when it comes to love or even alcohol and drugs. They're like, let's do other stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm here for it.
Hmm.
But yeah, give it
Interesting.
another month or so
Okay.
before we do a reading with her. I want him to be able to give me actual information, not just from your grandfather. I know we have 2 minutes. I'm going to get through this real quick. Your elevation of career shifts. Well, I did not know this. I did a pre-read on you because I knew we were going to do this. So before you came on, I was like, of course you're doing the new stuff because I'm about to tell you what you're going to do. Okay. So March, April, May, and June. February is your creative collective organization
Hmm.
relaunch or a reshift with additives to it, new additives that are way more beneficial for you because you're an excellent host. So I want you to be out there. I want you to be doing these things because I feel like that we need these spaces for people like you to be doing the things you're doing to open up the spaces for education in so many fields, emotional, physical, spiritual, right? So you're going to have nothing but up leveling end of March, all of April, May, and June. So whatever going on, it's going to start shifting into a positive place. Your honey needs to watch his heart health.
Mm.
I need him to watch his genetic heart health. I'm not saying anything's wrong with him, but as we get older, we know our genetics, we know our eating patterns. So have him watch his heart health, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugars. The eldest is a daughter, correct?
Yep.
Okay. She also is going to be going through something at the end of the school year. What grade is she in?
She's a freshman.
10-4. So I was going to say, it feels like we're going to a shift for her that's frustrating. So it goes into a space of it could be that she's trying to really find and land her, like what she wants to do in the future. She could
Hmm.
be very organized or in a space where she's like, do I want to do that? Do I really
Hmm.
want to do that? Because I know I'm focusing all my energy now, especially a sophomore to junior, senior, in the space of facilitating and cultivating exactly what her worth is and what she wants to do that makes her happy. Is she organized?
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's like overthinking it,
Yep.
questioning it, over and analyzing it, especially in the school year, which usually means she's getting to a space where what am I doing? It could be also
Mm.
influential by friends, influential by a boyfriend or girlfriend. It could be influential to like what it is I'm trying to get accomplished. I need to do now, but
Mm.
she needs to relax. Tell her to relax. Tell her to relax. I mean, you made the face like you tell her to relax. She's not gonna listen to me.
No.
Okay, and then I want to go into your dad's health. We have gut health stuff going on and heart health stuff going on. Does he have any diagnosis right now?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Does he present pretty healthy?
Yes.
Okay. I want not on the timeline in a negative way. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to give you information. But as by the end of June of this year, I want to make sure he's had his labs ran. I only do things in 6 months. So let me know when I'm right. That when he gets his panel done, maybe in May. If you had it done recently, wait the 6 months. Obviously, if it was done 2 months ago for some reason, then make sure he does it again in 6 months. I only know for my own self. I had labs ran a year and a half ago or a year ago, totally fine, everything great. Get them done again because I have some weird stuff going on. All of a sudden, super high cholesterol, heart condition stuff going on. That now I'm back on my statin because I had a stroke. Out of nowhere, it changed. So, and same eating habits, same drinking habits, same life habits were there. In fact, anything, I was doing better. So it didn't make any sense. So even if they're presenting healthy, I want to make sure he gets his labs back and pay attention. Find out what holistically and medically we need to do. Because he knows his genetics. He knows if dad had a heart attack or a stroke or high cholesterol or what? But he died accidentally, correct?
He had a heart attack.
10-4. 10-4. Yep. Accidentally health, meaning that we didn't get looked in
Didn't
time
know.
and
Yeah.
and here we are. Right. So thank you for that. Actually, I did not know that. So I just know that he keeps saying genetic, 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 genetic. And so for me, you can present healthy, but he should be ahead of the game because he's already known what his dad went through. So we need to make sure he's okay to take the medications. It's okay to take medications if you need to, especially genetics. You can't combat that. That's just something that happens. So thank goodness for Western and Eastern medicine together. That's all I'm going to say about that. So have him get his lipid panel run again. Okay.
Okay.
All right, honey. It's great to see you. We're
Love
past
you.
our
Thank you
past
for
our
being
hard one.
here. When you're on to your next level of
You're
something
welcome.
we can't talk about, you're coming back.